Meantime, Toronto is preparing for its big first in-person event in, wow, how long? St. Patrick's Day Parade happening March 20th, and now we're talking about the masking. A lot to talk about. Toronto Mayor John Tory joins me now live for his weekly check-in. Mr. Mayor, good morning.
Hey, Mel. Hi.
Now, this is encouraging news, but I first want to get your take about the masking and the timing on it. There is some criticism around it with it being the first day back from March break. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, one of the things I've learned in 2 years of trying to help manage the pandemic with Dr. DeVille and everybody else is no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody who disagrees, whether it's an expert or not. But in this case, I have relied, as I have throughout, on the advice of Dr. DeVille, and she in turn has consulted very closely with the Chief Medical Officer of Health. And one thing that we will ask the City Council for permission to do today is to make sure that whatever we do with masks will be in alignment with the province so that we won't have two sets of mask rules that are confusing for people. So, Dr. DeVille has said, as has Dr. Moore, and I rely on the doctors, not other politicians, not myself as a politician, the doctors, to say we're in a new phase of the pandemic. We have to keep moving forward in terms of finding new ways to keep people safe and in new, under new rules. And so I'm confident their expert medical advice will be the way to go. And when Dr. Moore indicates what he's doing today, I hope the city will be able to follow along with that and that people will continue to be careful and cautious, but at the same time recognize we are in a new phase and that we've got to keep moving forward. And that we'll be doing whatever we can. The ultimate objective always, always, always is to keep people safe and healthy and not go backwards into things we've seen over the last 2 years.
It's looking as though ridership on public transit is increasing, especially with these climbing gas prices. So with that, a lot of people are asking if it's anticipated that masking will be removed in places like public transit, TTC. What do you think?
Well, I was on the subway last night, and I will confirm that the ridership on there was quite a bit higher than than it has been in previous months and years, for that matter, and that's encouraging. The TTC has its own board and sets its own policy with respect to masking, and so they will have a decision to make as well when they see what the Provincial Medical Officer of Health says today. The Provincial Medical Officer has indicated that he is likely to recommend some different things for different places, although I think it'll be a fairly broad change in mask requirements, and the TTC will then have to review that, as they have been doing continuously. So my expectation is that they too will have a review of this, and they will have some comment to make about that sometime shortly after with what the province comes forward with. Again, we're trying as a city to keep things consistent for people so that they don't have to sort of look up in a book every time they want to go anywhere, whether you have to have a mask on or a mask off. We're trying to make it straightforward for people in that regard.
That makes sense. While we were looking at the visuals of the TTC streetcars, there was a motion from Councillor Mike Cole to wrap those streetcars with a Ukrainian flag to show support for what is happening. Where does that process stand, and is it something that you would agree with?
Well, it's a difficult thing for us because, first of all, there's the precedent, and we strongly support. I'll be making some remarks at the opening of council today about how strong our support is for Ukraine and for Ukrainian people and for the Ukrainian Canadian population here in Toronto, which is one of the biggest in the world. But to do something like that, it requires taking those vehicles out of circulation. It requires the spending of money and so on. So we're going to find some things to do. I'm not sure he's likely to proceed with that motion, just because I think he's understanding now some of the practical issues involved in it. But I can just tell you, this city stands foursquare behind Ukraine, behind our Ukrainian community in Toronto, behind the Ukrainian people in this outrageous atrocity of what's going on. And we will be helping in every way we can to settle refugees here, which is the main focus of my attention, and doing everything else we can to be supportive of people that are subject to horrible oppression right now at the hands of their invaders.
Finally, for you, Mayor Tory, we won't get a chance to speak with you next week. I won't be here, you won't be here. But as we look at this calendar, almost 2 years to the date from when the WHO declared a global pandemic, a week later, the province basically shutting things down. Here we are, 2 years later, where we've got the first big in-person event with the St. Patrick's Day Parade coming. Where are you? I see a smile on your face after this anniversary here. Where is your head at right now?
Well, my head's in a very positive place in the following respect. And we've got to get back to having these events. It's part of the lifeblood of the city. It's the lifeblood of our businesses. I think it's going to cause people to just be in a better state of mind because they've been very frustrated by this isolation. So the St. Paddy's Day Parade is the first big event, and we've confirmed all the other ones: Pride, Caribbean Carnival, Taste of the Danforth, Taste of Lawrence, Taste of Manila. All those are going to be back. But I hope people will come out and support the parade. And I'm going to declare a second St. Patrick's Day on the 20th. The real one, of course, is on March 17th. And we're going to declare a second one because we've been denied St. Patrick's Day for a couple of years. And I hope people will get out and support local bars and have a pint of green beer on both the 17th and the 20th, and support the parade, which is on the 20th. And I will be there. I've got to dust off my green jacket that I wear on St. Patrick's Day parades, but I'll be there on the 20th. And I hope lots of other people will be as well. Not just celebrating the Irish in Toronto and their great history and the great contribution they make, but also just celebrating our city and, the fact that we've got to recover strongly and support business, get people back on their feet in terms of both their own psychology and business. And that's part of my job, too, is to make sure the city recovers strongly from this nightmare that we've been experiencing for, as you say, 2 full years from March of 2020.
So Mayor Tory telling me to have beer on the 17th and 20th. Check and
That's
check.
right. Do it, Mel.
Done.
Do it.
All right, Mayor
We
Tory.
want to see photographic evidence. I'll be asking for it next time I'm on.
Oh, boy. Okay, done and done. One in each hand.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again the week of the 21st. Appreciate it. And right now, we go on over to Dina and Sid.
Wait, hold the phone here, Mayor Tory. Did you just make a second St. Patrick's Day because you felt like it? Did I hear that correctly?
This is one of the things that you can do, but I promised it, Sid, and I try to keep my word on these things that I say I'm going to do. And when St. Patrick's Day was postponed, both in 2020 and 2021, as Mel said, it was the first public event canceled when the pandemic hit. I said there would be a replacement. So for starters, we're going to declare, and I do have the proclamation ready. In fact, I have it right here somewhere on my desk. But that says we're going to have what I call St. Patrick's Day 2 2022. So it's the second one. And the first one, of course, will be on the day, March 17th, coming up next week. The second one would then be on the day of the parade on the Sunday. And I hope people will. I know the restaurants and bars will play along and have the green beer because they want to have the customers come back. But I hope people will also maybe celebrate double and come out to the parade, go to a pub that day, but also go out on the 17th and have a good time and come downtown. We need people to come downtown to get the downtown back on its feet. There's a lot of businesses that have been very hard hit and a lot of people who have been working from home, and we need them to come back downtown, and the employers are asking them to do that now.
So nice. We're going to celebrate it twice.
I like
just
that a
easy
lot.
on the green beer.
I like that a
because
lot.
you maybe are
Now,
rusty,
can we
and
mix
then
that in? Do I understand correctly that Sid is having a big anniversary of 1 year on the program? Do I understand that? Is that coming up, or is it today or tomorrow?
I don't count days, Mayor Tory.
But you're not here tomorrow, so maybe you want to say something.
Well, you know what I was going to say is they said it wouldn't last, but here we are a year later. It's unbelievable.
I believe one of those people was you, Mayor Tory.
Ryan's
lots of people. The word reached my ears that people said it wouldn't last, but here we are, and Sid is making a great success of himself. So that surprise. There's, what do they say? Behind every powerful man is a very surprised woman. Well, some variation of that applies here, but no, he's doing a great job.
He's hilarious.
It's going to take an hour to dissect that line because you're right. There's a lot of truth in that.
But I love Roast the Host with John Tory. It's my favorite segment.
It's great. It's great. Well, why don't we make it? You can declare what you want here. You're the mayor of Toronto. Let's make it St. Patrick's Day weekend. You want to do that, Mayor Tory?
Yeah.
Let's just extend it.
Well, no, I'm just sticking to a day, but I've got one more day I owe people because we had to postpone two of them. So maybe we'll do the St. Patrick's Day weekend another time. But, there's nothing more fun than St. Patrick's Day, and I do hope people will get into the spirit of the fun and really dine local, shop local, have a pint local. These businesses were really hit hard, and they need our help. So I hope people will get out there and support St. Patrick's Day, both of them, the 17th and the 20th.
Cheers to that. Thank you so much, Mayor Tory. We won't see you next week, but see you in a little bit.
Take care, Mayor Tory.
I'm sure you will. Bye.
Hey,
Bye
speaking
now.
of green, we go from beer to green cheer.